Clara Whitmore had only one simple goal that Christmas: survive the dinner her mother had promised would include a charming boyfriend. But when a billionaire named Adrian Blackwood appeared, offering to be her fake date, she never expected the fantasy to spiral into a nightmare. By Christmas Eve, what began as a harmless lie had entangled her in secrets far darker than she could imagine: Adrian's hidden past, a scheming ex-wife, and a web of corporate corruption. And when the snow fell hardest and sirens wailed outside his estate, Clara realized that saving Adrian might cost her everything, including her heart. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thrilling stories. Snow fell like a promise the night Clara Whitmore realized she was about to spend Christmas alone. The cafe window reflected her disappointment back at her, 27, freshly promoted, and heartbreakingly single. Her phone buzzed with a message from her mother. "Can't wait to meet your Christmas date this year, sweetheart." Clara closed her eyes. The lie had started small. A harmless sentence last summer. "I'm seeing someone." And now it had grown into a monster with a scarf and expectations. That was when fate, cruel, glittering fate, walked in wearing a tailored black coat and a presence that seemed to quiet the entire cafe. Everyone knew him. Adrian Blackwood. Tech billionaire. Media darling. Infuriatingly handsome. Emotionally unavailable, according to every headline ever written. He ordered an espresso, glanced around, and then his eyes met Clara's. He smiled. Not the polite kind. The kind that made her forget how breathing worked. Minutes later, through a bizarre twist involving a spilled drink, a shared laugh, and Clara's impulsive honesty, Adrian was sitting across from her, listening as she confessed everything. The fake boyfriend, the looming Christmas dinner, the unbearable pity she couldn't face. "I need a date," she finished weakly. "Just for Christmas." Adrian studied her, eyes unreadable. Then, slowly, he leaned back and said, "I'll go with you." Clara laughed. "You're joking." "I never joke about Christmas," he replied. And just like that, her quiet holiday turned into a whirlwind. Private flights. Snow-covered estates. His hand warm on the small of her back as they entered her parents' home, cameras flashing outside, the world suddenly watching them. The way he looked at her, like she was the only person in the room. The way the act began to feel dangerously real. By Christmas Eve, Clara was falling. But billionaires had secrets. And Adrian Blackwood carried his like shadows. That night, she overheard a phone call through a half-closed door. "Yes," Adrian said softly. "She doesn't know. And she can never find out." Clara's heart stopped. Her fingers trembled on the banister as one question echoed through her mind. What exactly had she agreed to pretend to be, and what would happen when the truth came out? The floor creaked beneath Clara's feet. Adrian went silent. She fled before he could open the door. Sleep never came. Clara lay awake staring at the guest room ceiling, her heart pounding louder than the wind outside. She doesn't know. She can never find out. The words wrapped around her chest like wire. By morning, Christmas Day, she had built 1,000 terrible possibilities in her mind. Was he engaged? Using her for publicity? Hiding a scandal? At breakfast, Adrian was warm, attentive, too perfect. He brushed snow from her hair, smiled at her parents like he belonged there, and slipped his fingers through hers beneath the table. The touch sent sparks through her, and fear straight after them. "You're quiet today," he murmured later, when they stood alone by the fireplace. "Just tired," she lied. His gaze lingered on her face, as if he sensed the crack forming. "After dinner," he said softly, "there's something I want to show you." Her pulse spiked. "Show me? Or tell me?" That afternoon, the doorbell rang. A woman stood outside, elegant, poised, devastatingly beautiful. She wore a designer coat and an expression carved from confidence. "I'm looking for Adrian Blackwood," she said. Adrian appeared behind Clara, tension slicing through the air. "You weren't supposed to be here." The woman smiled, but it wasn't kind. "Christmas changes plans." Clara's stomach dropped. "And you must be her," the woman continued, eyes raking over Clara. "The girl he brought home." "Who are you?" Clara asked, her voice barely steady. The woman stepped closer. "My name is Evelyn Blackwood. She turned to Adrian. And I'm still his wife. The room spun. Clara's ears rang as every look, every touch, every whispered promise shattered in an instant. Adrian opened his mouth. Clara, I can explain. But she was already stepping back, tears burning her eyes. You said it was pretend, she whispered. You said it was just Christmas. Adrian reached for her. It was never just Christmas. Before Clara could answer, Evelyn leaned in and delivered the final blow. You should know, she said quietly, this arrangement ends tonight. And when it does, someone is going to get hurt. Clara's heart broke open as she realized the truth far too late. She hadn't fallen into a holiday romance. She had walked straight into a war. The room felt smaller with every breath Clara took. I didn't know, Adrian said, his voice low, urgent. Evelyn, this isn't the place. Isn't it? Evelyn cut in smoothly. Your parents adore her. The press is already circling. I'd say this is exactly the place. Clara's chest tightened. Your parents? She echoed, turning slowly toward him. Adrian's face fell. That was all the answer she needed. She stepped back again, shaking her head. So this was never about helping me, she whispered. I was a distraction. A prop. No, Adrian said fiercely, grabbing her hand. It started that way, but you're wrong about what it became. Evelyn laughed softly. Adrian, don't insult her intelligence. You needed a wholesome, relatable woman for the board vote next week. A fake girlfriend to clean up your image while the divorce negotiations stalled. Clara's vision blurred. Board vote. Adrian closed his eyes. Evelyn leaned closer to Clara, her voice dropping to silk-covered steel. If he loses that vote, he loses the company. And if the world finds out he paraded a lie through Christmas. She smiled. He loses everything. Clara pulled her hand free. So what happens now? Adrian took a step toward her, eyes dark with something that looked dangerously like desperation. What happens is I tell you the truth. All of it. Right now. Before he could continue, a shout came from outside, then another. Adrian's phone buzzed violently in his pocket. He looked at the screen and went pale. The press, he muttered. They're already here. Evelyn straightened her coat. I'll handle them. You, she said to Clara, should decide very carefully what role you want to play next. Clara's heart hammered as cameras flashed through the windows, white lights slicing into the room like knives. Adrian reached for her one last time. If you walk away, he said quietly, I won't stop you. But if you stay, nothing will ever be simple again. Clara looked at the man who had shattered her heart, and the truth she still hadn't heard. Outside, reporters chanted Adrian's name. Inside, Clara stood between love and betrayal, knowing one choice would change her life forever. She opened her mouth to answer, and the front door burst open. The door slammed against the wall. Snow rushed in with the cold, and a man. Adrian Blackwood. The stranger barked, breathless, flanked by two security guards who were clearly too late. Federal investigators are on their way. You need to come with me now. Silence detonated in the room. Clara's heart dropped to her knees. Adrian didn't move. His eyes locked on Clara's, something raw and unguarded breaking through the billionaire polish. This, he said quietly, is what I didn't want you to find out like this. Evelyn stiffened. You promised this was handled. It was, the man snapped. Until someone leaked documents this morning. Clara felt dizzy. What documents? Adrian finally turned to her fully. The company. My father founded it on lies, illegal ones. When I took over, I tried to dismantle everything quietly. I needed time. The board. The vote. His voice cracked. You. Her breath hitched. You brought me here to protect yourself, she said. At first, he admitted. But then I fell in love with you, and everything went wrong. The words hit harder than any betrayal. Outside, sirens wailed, growing closer. You have to decide, the man urged Adrian. Now. Adrian reached into his coat and pulled out a flash drive. He pressed it into Clara's palm, closing her fingers around it. If I go with them, he said softly, this is proof. It clears my name, but only if someone I trust gives it to the right person. Clara stared at the drive, then back at him. You trust me? With my life. Evelyn's voice cut through the moment. If you give that to her, Adrian, you lose your leverage. Your fortune. Your freedom. Adrian didn't look away from Clara. Some things matter more. Footsteps thundered up the driveway. Clara's mind raced. Walk away and save herself, or stay and risk being dragged into a storm that could destroy them both. She closed her fingers around the flash drive. I'll do it, she said. Adrian exhaled shakily. Relief. Fear. Everything tangled together. But before he could thank her, before he could kiss her, the agents stormed in and snapped cold steel cuffs around his wrists. As they pulled him toward the door, Adrian turned back one last time. Whatever happens, he said, voice breaking, don't let them change what we had. Then he was gone, swallowed by snow, sirens, and flashing lights. Clara stood alone in the wreckage of Christmas, clutching the truth in her hand, unaware that someone in the room had already sent a message. She has the drive. And whoever received it was already on their way. The house felt hollow after Adrian was taken. Clara barely noticed Evelyn slipping out a side door, or the way the Christmas lights still blinked cheerfully, mocking the disaster they framed. All she could feel was the weight in her palm, the flash drive burning like a secret with teeth. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, you made the wrong choice. Her blood ran cold. She looked around the living room. Empty. Too empty. Then another message appeared. The drive belongs to us. If you care about Adrian Blackwood, you'll bring it back. Clara's hands shook. She typed back before she could stop herself. Clara, who is this? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Someone who knows exactly where Adrian is being taken. And how long he'll survive there. The front windows rattled as a black SUV rolled slowly up the driveway. Clara's pulse roared in her ears. She grabbed her coat, slipped out the back door, and ran into the snow-covered woods behind the estate, her breath coming out in white bursts of panic. Her phone rang. She answered without thinking. Listen to me carefully, a man's voice said, calm and dangerous. You have 12 hours. Miss that deadline, and Adrian becomes a very expensive example. Clara stumbled to a stop beneath a frozen pine, tears streaking hot down her face. You said the truth would save him, she whispered. The man chuckled softly. Truth only matters when the right people hear it. The line went dead. Across the clearing, a shadow moved. Clara froze as footsteps crunched closer, slow, deliberate. She backed away, heart pounding, until she hit something solid. A voice spoke behind her. Going somewhere, Clara? She turned, and found herself face to face with Evelyn Blackwood, smiling sweetly, a gun glinting beneath her coat. Christmas is over, Evelyn said. Now we see how far you're willing to go for love. Clara tightened her grip on the flash drive, knowing one wrong move could cost Adrian everything. And the snow began to fall harder. Clara's teeth chattered, but not from the cold. She stared at Evelyn, the flash drive heavy in her palm, her mind racing 1,000 steps ahead, none of them good. Evelyn took a deliberate step closer. You really think you can just run into the snow and save him? Do you know what you're dealing with? I don't care, Clara said, her voice steadier than she felt. I'll do whatever it takes. Evelyn's smile sharpened. Bold. I like that. But brave girls don't survive long in my world. She raised the gun slightly. Hand it over. Clara shook her head, backing up, her eyes scanning the woods. Somewhere, buried in the storm and shadows, was Adrian, her only reason to risk everything. Suddenly, a roar split the silence. A black helicopter descended from the clouds, its searchlight slicing through the falling snow. Evelyn's eyes flicked up, and Clara took the chance. She bolted, sprinting through the woods, the snow sucking at her feet. Behind her, Evelyn cursed, firing a shot that whistled past Clara's shoulder. The helicopter's spotlight caught Clara just as she stumbled into a frozen creek, nearly losing the flash drive. She scrambled to her feet and ducked behind a fallen tree, gasping. Then, a voice rang out through the night. Clara Whitmore? Her heart stopped. She froze. Follow the light. Trust no one but me. It was Adrian's voice, but distorted, urgent, and somewhere inside the helicopter. Clara looked up. The helicopter hovered dangerously close. A rope ladder unfurled, swaying in the wind. Evelyn emerged from the shadows behind her, gun raised. Clara's mind screamed. One wrong move and Adrian, would be lost forever. She swallowed her fear, tightened her grip on the flash drive, and whispered to herself, I have to save him, no matter what. And then, without another thought, she ran toward the rope ladder as Evelyn fired again. Snow flew. The helicopter roared. The night swallowed her scream. And just as her fingers grazed the first rung, a hand shot out from the darkness, grabbing her. Clara's eyes widened. Claire, we need to move. Now. But it wasn't Adrian. It was someone else. Clara's heart slammed against her ribs as the stranger's grip yanked her into the shadows. Snow stung her face, and the roar of the helicopter faded into the chaos around her. Who are you? She gasped, twisting to see him. He pulled off his hood. Clara froze. It wasn't Adrian. It was someone she never expected, her childhood friend Ethan Marlowe, the one who had always been quietly in love with her. Only now he looked different, taller, broader, eyes hardened by years she hadn't seen him. Ethan, she whispered, disbelief and relief warring in her chest. No time to explain, he said, urgency slicing through his words. Adrian's been taken by the board's private security. They're holding him in a safe house outside the city. We have one shot before they move him. Clara's grip tightened on the flash drive. The drive? It's the only way to save him. Ethan nodded. Exactly. And Evelyn? She's working for them now. She'll do anything to stop us. The snow fell harder as they sprinted, shadows stretching like fingers around them. The helicopter searched the woods, spotlight cutting through the white, but Ethan guided Clara with a confidence born of purpose. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt unreal. They reached a clearing where a black SUV waited. In, Ethan ordered. The safe house was heavily guarded, but Clara refused to let fear take hold. With Ethan's help, she used the flash drive to expose the truth. Adrian's company had been under threat from internal corruption, but the documents proved his innocence, and the board couldn't touch him without public scandal. They stormed the compound in the dead of night. Gunfire cracked, snow kicked up around them, and the guards never expected two determined civilians. Clara ducked behind a car as Ethan took down the last guard. Inside, Adrian was cuffed to a chair, bruised but alive. His eyes widened when he saw Clara, and something unspoken passed between them, a mixture of relief, love, and the knowledge that their lives had been forever changed. Clara rushed to him, sliding the cuffs open with trembling fingers. "I've got you," she whispered. Adrian pulled her close, his lips brushing hers. "I knew you'd come," he murmured. Evelyn appeared in the doorway, gun raised. Her face twisted with fury. "You think this ends here?" she spat. Adrian stepped in front of Clara. "Yes," he said firmly. "It ends now." Before she could fire, the authorities, alerted by the digital evidence Clara had transmitted from the flash drive, stormed in. Evelyn was taken away, shouting threats, her empire of control crumbling in an instant. Clara sank against Adrian, snow melting into their clothes. "Survived," she said softly, still in shock. Adrian cupped her face, eyes glistening. "No," he said, voice trembling. "We live." They stood together in the snow, the storm finally easing, the night quiet except for the faint echo of sirens in the distance. And as the first light of Christmas morning touched the horizon, Adrian whispered, "This Christmas, I didn't just find love. I found you." Clara smiled, letting the warmth of that truth wrap around her heart. And for the first time in a long while, everything felt possible.